see a Dodgers shirt here. Okay, I know I'm in the right place. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. Now no one knows this, right? Okay. Okay, ready? הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב דה 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 הנה מה טוב What is it? הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב You got it? הנה מה טוב הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד מה טוב אוהליך יעקב משכנותיך ישראל You got it? מה טוב אוהליך יעקב משכנותיך ישראל הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד All right. So nice to have you all participate too. It's really cool. It's so nice. I just want to do one little quick tech thing. I just want to make sure everything is sounding okay for the sound guys and everybody else and for all of you too. Okay there? Okay, great. I may be making a little bit in the way of adjustments here just for my own thing, but okay. Great. Beautiful. So this is not page 5. Page 3. So this is actually, a lot of times when we do RebbeSoul concerts, we actually open with this song because it's a song of welcome. And that's the way we welcome the Shabbat as well. So this is, you may know right? Everybody know that? Everybody comfortable with that? Well, we're not going to do that one, so. You might know this one. This is, well, it's a little more groovy. Like when we do the RebbeSoul thing, they're always like grooves for days. And I particularly like that too because as a musician, before I started my whole RebbeSoul thing, we had to I did a lot of studio work and played for other artists in Los Angeles, and so you got a chart in front of you, your eyes are glued to the chart, you're doing all this, and it's kind of like I remember looking at the flute player next to me, and he's going like, dude, dude, That was way back in the day, believe it or not, with the Jackson 5. Yeah, the Jackson 5. So yeah, he was describing it. That's the way he played too, in fact. So it's kind of like when I started the whole RebbeSoul thing, I had so much fun because we just played grooves. And I thought to myself, I'm probably going to put like maybe 3 chords down, and that's it. And for the rest of it, we're just going to have loads of fun. And I realized later that, that's exactly what Miles Davis did. So I figured I was probably in good company. So it was a cool thing, So anyway, so here's the song of welcome. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Asharet, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech, Malachi HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now I'm going to stop right there because I heard a young lady right here who did this. And in fact, I was supposed to do that to sync up your cameras. Oh, you did it. Cool. Okay. So now not for syncing purposes, but it's actually kind of a cool thing to just kind of clap on all the downbeats. And you're welcome to do that, and it helps keep me in time, quite frankly. So it'd be cool. Ready, we go. 2, 3. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Sharet, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech, Malachi HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Asharet, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech, Malachi HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Asharet, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech, Malachi HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So you ask the angel of peace, you welcome the angel of peace, and then for the next verse, you ask the angel of peace to come in, and that's Boachem, like this. Boachem b'shalom, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech, Malachi HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem b'shalom, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech, Malachi HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem b'shalom, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech, Malachi HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now the next part, you ask the angel of peace to bless you with peace. So bless me is Bachuni. Bachuni? One more time, Bachuni? Okay, now everyone under the age of 18, Bachuni? See, that's pretty good over there. Okay, they got it. That's a pretty good crowd right here. And by the way, your clapping is great. Usually there's a major groove alarm that happens. Like whenever we do things like this, like some of the people are on, and there's somebody like, oh my God, why did I do this? But this is actually pretty cool. So I congratulate you. Where were we? Bless me, Barchuni. Okay. 3, 4. Bachuni l'shalom, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech, Malachi HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bachuni l'shalom, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech, Malachi HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bachuni l'shalom, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech, Malachi HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now, this came off an album called Regesh, which was all this like kind of Jewish, like sort of reggae stuff. So that's why I'm skanking right now. In fact, if any of you want to say Yaman, now is a good time to do it. Yeah, that's your gig. You got it. Right. So the last part, we say you actually tell the angels that they may now leave in peace. So you've welcomed them, you've asked them to come in, you've asked them to bless you, and now at the end you say these words that if you go to Israel and if you visit some of the moshavim and places there, when you are leaving out of the gates, you'll always see these words, Tzeitchem l'shalom, which, anybody? Yeah, somebody said it. Say it again. Right, leave in peace. So you're now saying to the angels of peace to now leave in peace. And some people you'll find actually when they do the Shalom Aleichem, like in their homes, they'll leave out this last part saying, well, we don't want them to leave. But I figure there's plenty to go around, and it's kind of like telling Santa Claus, all right, stay there at the bottom of our fireplace. You're not going anywhere now, pal. We got you, So Tzeitchem b'shalom. Here we go. Tzeitchem b'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitchem b'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitchem b'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu. Well, thank you. And I'll give you the extra $10 at the end of the So we're just about to get ready to do the candle lighting. And just as kind of like an intro to that, I want to tell you just a little bit about this, a little RebbeSoul story for you here. The first song that I really wrote for this project, which turned out to be kind of like a whole career really for me, was a song that came out of a Shabbat dinner. I was in LA, I was a musician in LA, typically playing on various recording sessions, and you play with different artists. You're in like 15,000 bands at the same time. It's that kind of thing, showcasing here, and it's one of those kind of lives that you live. And I heard about this dinner, like a Friday night dinner, hosted by a rabbi in L.A., where they were inviting people from the entertainment business, and so. I somehow heard about it because I'm a musician, so I heard about it, and I decided, well, it's a Friday night, and I didn't have a gig to play. I thought, okay, well, I'm going to go and check it out. And so I went there, and it was really, really cool. There were about 30 people, a lot of, business people, people, and then some actors, actresses, maybe some other musicians, but mostly people in that entertainment business, which is so big in Los Angeles, right? And one of the things that I noticed is when they were lighting the candles, all the women got up, and the girls, got up, and they all massed around these tons of these candles, and they all lit the candles and they sang the bracha together. And I tell you, it just got me right there. I just thought, wow, that's really something. And so I decided I was going to write a song about it, which I'm going to share with you in just a second. And it's called Sister Sarah. And let me just, this is by the way, the major choreography of the evening is what I'm doing right now. So I hope you enjoy it. Actually, it's a good question, but the answer is no. That's funny. After all the years I've done this, no one's ever asked that question before. That's pretty interesting. I never really thought of it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the choreography, though. That was it right there. Yeah. So when I wrote the song, I just had this image in my mind, and it was really striking to me, and I was really struck by the fact that there were, this beautiful female presence bringing light into the world, and I thought, wow, that's really, really something, and it really, really struck me, and I ended up sitting across the table from some of them, and they were beautiful, and I thought to myself, hey, wait a minute, and they're Jewish, and I'm Jewish. Wait a minute, what have I been missing out on? So it changed my whole life, really. And I thought, well, I'm gonna, when I wrote the song, I pretty much doing a lot of the music work that I did. Fortunately, there were a lot of great songwriters. I played on like some of the recordings, and they were really great songwriters. So I was just accustomed to hearing what a good song sounded like. But I didn't really know much about writing lyrics. The only music that I'd ever written really was just music, for certain things like little cues and things like that. And so I just figured, well, okay, I'm going to kind of write some lines and just, rhyme the words, and that'll be good for the first time out here. I'm just going to give that a try. And so that's what I did. I had this little notebook in my car. Because my car is pretty much, being in LA is where I spent 90% of my time, in my car. And so I was writing down, like, I think of something, I say, oh, okay, this is kind of a cool line, and by the way, here's a rhyme right here. Well, how about that? I'm really getting somewhere with this. And so it just kind of, and the lines just sort of flowed, It took a couple of weeks, or I think something like that. And it just kind of flowed. I remember, waiting outside rehearsals and stuff like that while I was waiting for, everybody to show up, and I would take my little notebook and write a little bit more. And that went on the first album. So, but it goes like this. She's got a smile that sparkles and eyes that dance. The smell of her skin suggests romance. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. When I see you there with your shoulders bare, turn me on, Sister Sarah. 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 Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's my soulmate, a woman I've always felt. When she lights the candles, my heart just melts. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. I wanna take you home and get you all alone. Turn me on, Sister Sarah. Turn me on, Sister Sarah. Turn me on, Sister Sarah. Turn me on, Sister Sarah, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit more about this story. So this song made it on the first RebbeSoul album, and to my utter surprise, it actually got on the radio. And without like a record deal or anything, I wasn't anybody famous or anything like that. So it was on the radio, and so once that happened, I started getting invited to a lot of Shabbat dinners after that. So and so anyway, it's Purim Eve, okay? Purim Eve, where we take our drinking very seriously. And I was invited. I remember there were 3 Purim parties all in Los Angeles. So I was going from one to the other, and one of them, the last one, ended up in Pico Robertson, understandably. And so I pulled up, and this was at the home of a rabbi who was on sabbatical from Israel. He was a Breslov rabbi, and he was like one of the authorities on Rebbe Nachman, like a real scholar and very interesting guy. And so I was invited there, and I got there. It was pretty late already. It was like midnight or maybe later. So I remember I got up there, and there's a little path that leads to the front door, and I'm walking up the path, and there's a guy passed out on the lawn over here, in the fine Purim tradition, of course. And I get to the front door, and it was open. There's a screen door there, so I could see in. And I'm looking at this long table, and at the other end is this rabbi. And so I open the door, I walk in, and he looks up, and he said, "RebbeSoul, turn me on, Sister Sarah." Seriously, fact is always better than fiction, it's true. And I thought to myself, man, did these guys listen to the radio or anything? How do they even know about this? I was so surprised, So I walked in, I closed the door behind me, and he goes, that's a very holy song. I remember this is the song I just kind of rhymed the words, I was just, okay, dance, romance, oh, that works, okay, So that's about as far as I went with it. And he said, no, it's a holy song. Come over here, sit down right next to me. I want to tell you about this. And so I walked over there, and I'm walking toward the table, and there were a few guys there. Most of them are all passed out and everything. And as I get closer to him, I kid you not, he had these long peyot, and they were, I kid you not, they were dripping in wine. There's a whole puddle over there under the sea. It was the weirdest thing. So anyway, I walk over there, sitting down next to him, and he said, Sarah is the mother of all the Jewish people. And if you go to a higher level, if you interpret this on the next level, I found out there's a multi-level marketing or something, like Amway or something, I don't know, something like that. She represents the Shekhinah. Shekhinah is one of the words for God. It's a female word, actually, Shekhinah. And of course you want her to turn you on. Of course you do. And then he starts going through a whole bunch of my other lines and explaining them to me. And remember, I was just kind of writing these things down. I mean, I remember leaving there, and I was almost shaking. It was a real mystical experience. Well, we're all in white on our special day. I give you Daddy the coin, and he gives you away. Ooh, yeah. Well, tonight I'll say, when we get away, turn me on, Sister Sarah. 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 Yeah, yeah. Turn me on, Sister Sarah. Turn me on, Sister Sarah. Turn me on, Sister Sarah. Turn me on, Sister Sarah, yeah, yeah, yeah. All your life you've been waiting. All your life you've been waiting. All your life we've been waiting. All your life we've been waiting. All your life you've been waiting. All your life you've been waiting. All your life you've been waiting. All your life. Now let's go to the candle lighting.
So, On page 5, you can find the blessings for lighting the candles. We wanted to ask any of the women and girls who want to come up. We have a few candles. We got about 15 of them up here. If you want to come up, anybody can come up who would like to light Shabbat candles. Please come up and light a candle up here. There's not enough for everybody, but enough for most people. So please, or most women, and please take one candle and the lighter there and light up a candle. We're going to say the blessing on page 5. So just take a moment and light the candle.
My extra ones?
What?
My extra candles?
No, don't worry about it. Okay. It's going to take too long of this.
Okay.
Yeah, ladies, don't go anywhere because we're going to say the blessing after they're all lit. Everyone likes one.
There you go.
No, it's anybody who wants to go.
There are plenty more available.
So shall we sing it?
Oh. See, it takes the daughter to tell the mom how to. Beautiful. מאוד.
Amen.
That was beautiful. Shall I just go into the next?
Yeah. Turning to page 6 now, everybody. Remember, as we do Lachadodi, when we come to the last verse, Bo'iva Shalom, when we say come in peace, kind of like we said in Shalom Aleichem, come in peace, we're going to actually rise at the end and face the door, and we say that last verse, Bo'iva Shalom. So again, you can follow along on page 6.
There are many, many melodies to Lechadodi. The person that wrote this one, her name is Basia Schechter. She's a good friend of mine. She's in New York, and she is involved in a synagogue there. I forgot which one it is. One of the big synagogues there, actually. And she wrote this beautiful melody, and it's based on a traditional Bulgarian melody. And when I heard it, I just thought, wow, this is great. And I'm not sure, a lot of people don't know this, but I'd love to share it with you just because I think it's really, really cool. And it goes like this, and you're definitely welcome to sing along. So. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabala. Want to try it? Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabala. שמור וזכור בדבור אחד ישמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשם תפארת ולתהילה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת לכו בניך כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוקה סוף מעשה במחסה בתהילה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה. Now usually you go to Bo'i v'Shalom at this point here. This is the way you do it? Okay. So we face the opening. Wow, you're so well trained. My God, everyone knows this. Here we go. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי כלה בואי כלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה. Sounds so good. Let's do another round. What do you say? לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה. יופי.
We're going to take a moment. You can remain standing. We're going to turn to page 9 again. Normally, part of the Shema and its blessings we do Baruch Hu and some other prayers. We're going to move to page 9 to the Shema. We're going to remain standing for this melody of Shema. And again, I know a lot of people know this melody. It's a melody that I think we probably do almost more than the original traditional melody. But this will give us a chance to focus our intention, our comment. As I said, service is a little different tonight, a little bit of more stories, more music, but some of the things we, of course, want to keep the traditional elements. And, of course, one of them, when we gather together, especially in the evening time and the nighttime, is to say Shema. So again, on page 9, you can find the words of our faith, the watchword of our faith, the Shema.
Let's just give it a moment here. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
To continue with one of our songs for Shabbat. It's also traditionally part of the service before we say the Amidah is Vishamru. And we're going to turn to page 12 for Vishamru. You can find in your Sidurim, in your prayer books. And again, you're in for a very special version of Vishamru.
This is a Shlomo Karlibach melody here, which some of you may know. Anyone here familiar? I'm just curious. All right, one person. Okay, well, this could be a duet then, you know. My key is C minor for this. Is that okay with you? Okay. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael el Shabbat. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael el Shabbat. Beni uven bnei Yisrael oti leolam ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz. Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash.
So traditionally, again, for the Amidah, we usually do the first part of the prayer, the Avot v'Imaot, and we go into Gvurot, and then have some silent prayer. But one of the things that the Amidah has as its conclusion are the prayers for peace, Oseh Shalom and Shalom Rav. And You know, the melodies, there's a lot of melodies for the prayers for peace. And we're going to do both prayers for peace. We're going to do tonight, Oseh Shalom and Shalom Rav. And I really, again, hope that all of us can pray for more peace in our world, for more harmony and balance. And shalom doesn't really just mean peace, right? It doesn't just mean the lack of warfare. It actually means completeness, a sense of wholeness. And really, again, in order for us to, I think, come together as a country, as a community, as individuals, is to really feel a sense of wholeness, a sense of balance. And that's obviously been missing from a lot of people and from a lot of communities, and quite frankly, obviously, throughout our country. So we need to bring that sense of wholeness back to our world. And so it's very important for us to be praying for peace tonight and to be thinking about it every day of our lives, but especially on Shabbat. And so we have a couple of versions of these prayers for peace. On page 15 is Shalom Rav and Oseh Shalom. And you can see those prayers. And I'm going to turn it back over to RebbeSoul to explain these. And I think some of these will sound familiar.
So Oseh Shalom. You probably know Oseh Shalom Binomav, right? Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom Binomav Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'imru Amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael. There's a version that I heard up in the Bay Area that I just thought it was so very nice. I'd love to just share it with you. I don't know if anyone's ever heard this. I certainly never heard it before, but it goes like this. Oseh Shalom, Shalom bin Romav. Hu Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel Ve'al Kol Ha'olam. Like to learn it? It's a nice one, isn't it? So one thing that might sound a little weird to you is Yoshvei Tevel. And what that really means is all living things. Is that a good translation? Okay, like all living things, peace to all living things. It's very inclusive, very nice prayer, and I simply love the melody. It was written by Jos Singer from up in the Bay Area, who is a rabbi up there. So, Oseh Shalom, Shalom bin Romav. Hu Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel Ve'al Kol Ha'olam. Oseh Shalom, Shalom bin Romav. Hu Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'al קויש ותבל ועל כל העולם. So, such a nice melody. I'm so glad you learned it, and I shared. This is actually the first time I've ever played it. I just think it's so very nice, really. And I think I pulled it off. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. You remember David Letterman? He finishes cue, you like throw him somewhere, you know. I never know what to do with him half the time, so now I've gotten into the habit of dropping them or, you know, stuff like that. So another peace song, and this one, I think you know this one, is Shalom Rav, and that's on the same page, right? Okay. I think it's nice, I like that. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Let's see, the next part is Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. V'tov benecha levarech et Amecha Yisrael. V'chal et uv'chal sha'ah b'shalomecha. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam.
So also on page 15, at the bottom of the page, is our prayer for healing, Misha Barach. And you want to say something about Misha Barach first?
Okay, first of all, I got to tell you, it's the funniest thing. After what I'm going to tell you, I've actually never played this song before. And you'll find it funny because I actually, the person that wrote it, Debbie Friedman, we became really, really good friends. We met at a high holiday service in Los Angeles like years ago. And this community always invited me to come and play. It was called B'nai Chorin. And they invited me to come play on the high holidays often. And at one point, they invited her, and so we were both there. We were talking and everything. And I didn't know like much about her music. It's kind of, like the kind of music is more like, it's a different style than the stuff I usually do, like sing around the campfire kind of stuff, that kind of thing. Sorry? Folksy. Yeah, very folksy. And it's beautiful stuff. I just really wasn't familiar with it. But typical, like in a lot of these renewal congregations, they'd say, okay, RebbeSoul, why don't you come on up and play this, like Avinu Malkeinu or something like that. High holiday. I come up, all they need to do is see me with an instrument, and every one of them, the crowd there, they're all grabbing their djembes and tambourines and everything, and I'm thinking, oh man, and I'm thinking, if I could just get through this, it's just, And so, but it's a service, and you want everyone to kind of have fun. So it's cool, and you just ignore it, and it's great. And if they enjoy it, then I figure, okay, well, that's a success. That's wonderful. We're not going to make a record out of this, but okay, it's fine. And so, but she didn't quite feel the same way, I guess. And so she gets up, she's playing. Similar things start to happen, but she realizes out of the crowd, of the musicians that are coming up, here's a guy, and I think he actually knows how to play. And so she said, RebbeSoul, come. So I walk up there. She said, play along here, would you? And so I'm playing along, and then she does another one, and I'm about to sit down. No, stay up here. I said, what are you kidding? I got to go to the bathroom or something, So I'm playing all these tunes. I don't even really know them. I'm just like filling in and stuff like that. And I remember I even asked her at one point, I said, why do you want me to play on all these songs all the time? She said, you have to protect me. So seriously, it was so hilarious. And we go back to the rooms, like the bungalows as they once had, or like hotels and stuff, and we would joke around. We would have so much fun. So there was a really light side to her, which was really, really nice. And we certainly shared that. There was obviously no musical pressure there with us. So, she could just relax, and we had a really, really great time. And the crazy thing is, as we got to know each other, I think it was the first evening, we're back in, one of the common rooms, and I'm there, and her mother's there, or aunt, or somebody, cousins, and all that. And we suddenly realized we're from the same hometown of Utica, New York. So, and she knows, my Uncle Murray, and I know her, Aunt Gladys or whatever. I was the crazy. Did you go to Oscanizzo's Pizzeria? Yeah, we went. It's a real Italian town. So, anyway, so we shared that. But oddly enough, I don't think I ever really played this. I probably accompanied her, like just kind of playing little, and then like my friend playing, the shoot. That kind of thing. So.
Before we sing it, though, we need you to say the names of the people that you're thinking of who are in need of healing right now. So if you just raise your hand and we can call on you, hear those names, and please say them kind of loud through the mask so we can hear them.
Steffi Bear.
Jeff Kravitz.
My niece, the Hebrew name is Bato.
David Walter. Simon Emerson.
Marsha Bruce Bush. Deanna Del Zager.
Mike Schwartz and Joanne Jones.
Eileen Pasternak.
Sam Urgent.
Karen Greenstein. Patrick Golding and Nina Hirsch.
Phyllis Wright and Harry Virgin.
Karen Barnett, the Betancourt family, and Jeff Stein, and anyone else who's not feeling.
Lisa Kelly, Greg Fry, Boris Stone.
On page 15, you can find the words for the Mishabach prayer, the beautiful melody written by Debbie Friedman of blessed memory.
Mishabach avotenu bekol habracha imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishabach imotenu mekor habracha lavaotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. That's such a pretty song.
So now we have a special melody, a special song that is not in your Siddur, but is very much based on the Torah and very much based on what we're actually reading about in the Torah right now. So we're talking about songs that we want to do, definitely songs that give us a sense of the beautiful range of music and styles from around the world. So the next song we're going to do is a song in Ladino. It's a song that we've actually sung before, so you may have heard it over the years here at Temple Beth Ami. It's actually one of the kind of the more famous Ladino melodies that's been recorded and shared around the world. But it's inspired by the story of Avraham. And actually last week we were introduced to Avraham in the Torah in the Parshat Lech Lecha. And Rick and Addie did a beautiful version of Lech Hilach, another Debbie Friedman song about the journey of Avraham and Sarah. This is a song about Avraham and kind of about his birth, which we really don't know anything about. We don't know a lot about why Avraham was the guy that was chosen, and Sarah. We don't know a lot about them in the Torah, but we do have a lot in the Midrash. We had a chance to read Midrash over the years in our Tuesday classes, which now we're now reading other parts of the Bible. But on Wednesday nights, you can join us in our Genesis discussions. We're reading very carefully and very kind of thoroughly with Genesis. So in a couple of weeks, we're going to be reading about Avraham and Sarah. We're looking at Midrash. We're looking at other sources. Right now, we're just at the very beginning. It's not too late to join us on Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock for Genesis discussion. And we've been having a lot of great times, right? Some of you are in this room right now, and you could tell that's not just, I mean, I'm enjoying it, and I hope you are too. But please join us for Genesis and to read the Midrash and to understand these beautiful, and some of the Midrash is not just expressed on the pages of texts. They're also, our Midrash is also in song. And so this is a song. So I'll let RebbeSoul explain.
Actually, you did a great explanation. By the way, any Spanish speakers here? Okay, so you may recognize some of the words because Ladino is it's like medieval Spanish. And so in more modern terms, it's kind of a combination of Spanish, and Aramaic, which was the main language at the time, especially all around the Mediterranean. Aramaic also contains some Hebrew words, so you're going to probably recognize some of those. Some of you may know this song. As you said that they did this before, right? So yeah, you might even know this. First time I ever did this, it was, oh man, there were like 8 verses or something like that. And I was studying them, and first of all, I don't know Spanish at all. So for me, it was like a major cram session, you know. And I played this concert. It was Vancouver, British Columbia. Maybe they have a Ladino population there, I don't know. But I went through and I struggled through all this stuff at this festival. And afterwards, backstage, this guy came back and proceeded to tell me how I mispronounced like almost every word in the whole song. Yeah. So now I basically take the first verse and I just repeat it over and over again. So. Cuando Renimrad al campo salía, miraba en ese hielo y él estrellaría. Vi una luz santa en la ayudaría, que había de nacer Abraham Avinu, Padre querido, Padre bendito, luz de Israel. Abraham Avinu, Padre querido, Padre bendito, luz de Israel, luz de Israel. Cuando de Nimrod al campo salía, miraba en el cielo y en la estrella, vido una luz santa en la ayudaría, que había de nacer Abraham Avinu, Padre querido, Padre bendito, luz de Israel. Abraham Avinu, Padre querido, Padre bendito, luz de Israel, luz de Israel. Cuando de Nimrod al campo salía, miraba en el cielo y en la estrella, vido luz santa en la ayudaría, que había de nacer Abraham Avinu, Padre querido, Padre bendito, luz de Israel. Abraham Avinu, Padre querido, Padre bendito, luz de Israel, luz de Israel, luz de Israel, luz de Israel, luz de Israel. Thank you. I didn't expect
That was, well, what can you say? But anyways, again, for those who are not fluent in Ladino or Spanish, again, the story tells us that the king Nimrod was an evil king. He was mentioned in the Bible very briefly. We don't know a lot about him, but according to the Midrash, he tried to kill Avraham. And so Avraham early on shows his heroism and his greatness early on, even as a child, that he was going to be killed by King Nimrod. And of course, we say Avraham Avinu, he's our blessed Father, and the light, Luz de Israel. So you can hear have a little bit of Spanish. You can pick up the Ladino from there. So again, it's a beautiful song. It's a beautiful tradition. And what it actually tells us in the Midrash, it speaks also about the persecution of Jews in Spain during the Inquisition and pre-Inquisition times. Because, again, the Midrash doesn't just speak to the ancient story, but to the life of the people who lived it. And so that's the beautiful power of Midrash, whether we were writing in the Roman era or in the medieval period, or even, unfortunately, into the Renaissance period. So thank you for that. It's a perfect time for us to hear that song. So we're going to go into something a little different, which we, of course, are going to do Kaddish before the end of services. But what we're going to do now is something that's a little different, which is, I would almost say, a musical midrash on Kaddish. That's all I want to say about it, because this is a little bit different than anything we've ever done before. RebbeSoul shared this for my father's tribute a couple of months ago, and we had a lot of wonderful musicians that were a part of that. Craig Taubman, I'm pointing to Rick because Craig and Rick work together a lot, but also Sam Glazer was a part of that. Noreen Green from the LA Jewish Symphony, and also we had Melissa Manchester, who is an amazing musician and composer, has won Grammys. RebbeSoul was a part of that too. We had to make sure he was a part of that. And even though, again, he lives further away than the rest of the LA-based musicians that were part of it, he has definitely had to be a part of that. And so this was really emotional for me because this was for the yard site for my father. He didn't write it for him, but he wrote it because, again, the Kaddish is a song, a prayer, that doesn't have music to it normally, right? It doesn't have a musical accompaniment to the Kaddish. But there are different ways of saying Kaddish, and there's different times we say Kaddish. Hatzi Kaddish, Kaddish Shalem. It's a very important part of the service. But, of course, for us, it's oftentimes associated primarily with memorial, and when we say it for people we love. So this is a very interesting piece that I want you to kind of understand how amazing this gentleman is, and again, how rich and wonderful Jewish music is around the world. And we have that represented here in this room right now. I want to tell you, we have Jews from all around the world who are in our room right now, from Europe, from South America. We have Sephardic Jews. We have Jews from Arab lands. I mean, looking at Rita from Egypt. I mean, we have the Moseses who are from England, but also have Indian, Baghdadi heritage. You don't have to go to West LA or to Israel to see the rich, vibrant Jewish community. We have people from around the world in this room right now. And this Kaddish, again, it's more like a journey. I turn it over to you.
Thank you. And I'm a Jew from Utica, New York, by the way. So, but this, I took about a 2-year period. Oh, thanks. I took about a 2-year period. And I was going around doing field recordings. Nowadays, we call them sampling. And I would be sampling all these different sounds all over the place. And one of the things that I sampled were the chants and things like that of people, of their ancestors and stuff like that. So I found the Kaddish prayer was just ubiquitous because it's said all the time. And by the way, speaking of languages, that is actually in Aramaic. And the reason the rabbis made it in Aramaic is because since it was such a popular language at the time, they wanted everyone to understand it. When someone dies, this is one of the great wisdoms, I think, of Judaism too. When someone dies, and when you say Kaddish or Kaddish, some of you say Kaddish, right? When you say that prayer, it's actually, there's no mention of death or anything like that in there, but it's your affirmation of your faith. And when is the time when one is most likely to doubt one's faith? Well, perhaps when somebody very close dies. I think that makes a lot of sense. So here at that time, this is the affirmation of your faith. Very, very wise stuff, I think. I love a lot of our traditions for that reason. So this contains, thanks. Over here, I do it like this. Actually, I better drink some of it. Okay, otherwise it'll spill. So during this period, I was recording all this stuff, and I found like the Kaddish prayers, the same prayer in Aramaic from all these different cultures, which I'll tell you about as we go through it. I'll kind of walk you through this. And it's just such a reflection on our people, which I found like really, really interesting, when I was going around with my recorder. So this is one of the first things I ever used with actual tracks live. I never did stuff like that before. But I started doing it with this song because there was no way that I could duplicate what these people actually sounded like a Hungarian Jew, where I recorded at the Kever of the Rambam, for example, in Tveria. Well, I couldn't duplicate that. That's the sound, so I had to include that. So that's why you're actually going to hear some real tracks. When I was done, I went back to my studio, came up with some cool grooves, and then we added a couple of instruments and just let the people speak for themselves. So I'd like to share it with you now. And I also want to make sure that it's like audible and you can hear it well and everything else. I think this is going to have to be a little louder, just judging from my perspective over here. So we start with a Russian choir. Is that too loud or is that okay? I can't really tell. It's okay? Oh, it's turned down? Is it better? Okay. So this is a Russian choir. I went through great lengths to do a great bass part when I got back to the studio, but these guys covered so much in the bass, I just threw out the part. I didn't even use it. It was so cool listening to them. The shaker that you're hearing now is called kashishi. Kashishi originally came from Ghana, and then it became very Brazilian in the art of capoeira. It's a Brazilian basket shaker. This is a frame drum called a daf or a tof, depending on where you're from. Miraculously, all these samples were in the same key when I got them back, which is unbelievable. This also was too. The first Kaddish prayer is at the Kotel, which is the wall in Yerushalayim, by an Ashkenazi guy who's American, right here. This drum right here is called a bendir from Morocco. And these guys are the Hungarians that I mentioned at the kever of the Rambam, the grave of the Rambam, on the eve of his yard site. Did this track just get louder to you? Hopefully it's okay. And you can hear some very high-pitched singers from India right here. These are Moroccans and Persians. And this next guy, he's an Ethiopian, and I got him at a place called Amuka. Amuka is a very special place outside Tzfat where you go to find your besheret, go to find your soulmate. And these last guys are also from Tzfat, the Sephardic synagogue of Abu Hav. Now, if you listen very carefully, you're going to hear some singers way in the background, and they're the Yemenites from Ashkelon. And there was a little kid sitting right next to me who said, Amen. You're going to hear him say Amen in just a minute.
If you'll turn onto page 36 in our Siddur, in our prayer book, for a time for us to say Kaddish in our tradition, to remember the losses at this time of year, the yard sites. Mickey Goodman, Gail Block, Herman Gross, Ruby Wolf, Artie Bear, Rosalind Durkee, Rosemary Melnick, Mary Edelman, Marcus Greenfield, Adele Stolman, Barry Hilton. And we remember over this last year, this last Shana, May Goodson, Helen Larner, Harvey Hasten, Linda Olis, Bud Schaefer, Victoria Rothschild, Muriel Reese, Rose Miller, Philip Sakertoff, David Watson, Vivian Terrigan, Joseph Gould, and Michael Moses. If there are people that you're personally remembering now, we ask you to say their names out loud before we say the Kaddish together.
My mother, Gina Kerbel.
My husband, Michael Manson.
My parents, Maria Lacho and Zachary Lacho.
On page 36, as we rise together for Mourner's Kaddish, we remember our loved ones of blessed memory now and honor them with our Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah. Be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uvyomechon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala v'zman kari ve'imru. Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei dekudesha barichu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'yimru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Osei shalom b'imrumav, hu ya'asei shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And we say together, Amen. 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 Please be seated, everyone. So we're going to finish up with our last couple of songs today for Shabbat. And again, I want to thank RebbeSoul, thank my friend for coming down and spending some time with us tonight to give us, again, an appreciation for how wonderful the Jewish melodies are from around the world. And there aren't many people who've done that with the kind of love and attention that RebbeSoul has done. I mean, he's definitely done it with Ashkenazi music for years, and then he kind of started exploring some more of the world music, and especially, as you heard with Kaddish, literally bringing together the Jewish world. And it's very important because, again, we have people, looking at my friend Joe Mergen, whose family is Sephardic and goes back centuries in Ladino and some of these melodies. We have to keep them alive, and we have to make sure that people around the world have an appreciation for the diversity that exists within the Jewish community. So again, I thank you so much for working hard and making that come to life to make sure that we continue to recognize that. And so we're going to finish with the last couple of melodies. I'm going to turn it back over to RebbeSoul. And again, thank you.
So this is another kind of a little travel around thing. Only this actually comes from very close to home. A while back, a number of years ago, Reb Zalman Schechter, who some of you may know, I think, kind of started the whole renewal movement. He wanted to have something that was very reflective, of American culture musically in the prayers, and so I remember he was talking about this at a high holiday service, which I was there for, and I remember some people did a few things, and I was on the road, and I remember I think I ended up in Phoenix or something, and I carry around a little mobile studio with me a lot. And I thought to myself, I think this might be a little more like what he has in mind, something like this. And so I just did a little rough recording, and I made like a little CD of the thing, and I sent it to him in the mail. This is before we could do stuff like this on the internet. And I mean, now isn't it amazing? We can just do that like this. So, of course, I'm one of those guys that gets up in an airplane and still looks out the window and thinks like, "Wow, I can't believe it," So, but anyway, I sent it to him, and he called me right away. He said, "That's kind of the idea." So I'd like to share that with you. You're all gonna, I'm sure, probably know this. Adon Olam. Oh, 37. Page 37. I'll give you a second to get there. Okay, ready? Adon Olam Hashem Allah B'terem kol Yitzir nivra Leit nasa B'chefzo kol Zayin melech Shemo nikra Ve'acharei kifloch hakol Levodo yimloch nora V'hu haya v'hu hoveh V'hu yeh b'tifara V'hu echad v'en sheni V'leman shilo v'achvira B'li reshin b'li taklit V'lo ha'oz v'hamizra V'hu elir v'chagoali B'tzur chevlim v'yitzara V'hu nisi u'manos li L'man kosi b'yom ekra V'yado avkid ruchi V'iti shan v'ha'ira V'im ruchi gviati V'chagoali v'yovira Adon Olam אדון העולם השם עלה בטרם כה יצאני רע לעת נעשה בחפצו כל זין מלך שמו נקרא. Very American, I think. Oh, thank you. Actually, I didn't write it, you know. I wish I would have written that one. That would have been quite a feat. Does that, by the way, regardless of generations, that's a pretty well-known song, right? Everybody knows that, right? And even the ones who are less than 18 over there, do you know that? Give me one of these if it's yes. Okay, all right, great. Okay, I'm going to do my little choreography one more time and leave you with this tune. And the rabbi was talking about the prayers for peace. We have so many of them, it seems. And I guess it's one thing we could always use is a little peace. And just a second. This actually sounds much better when it's in tune, believe me. So this is definitely a prayer for peace. I did this. This is on I Changed the World with a Sound album, and this is one of these things. We had a concert coming up at there was a club in LA called Billboard Live. Billboard magazine had this club, and it was the night before we needed another tune. I thought, oh man, I got to think of something. So I wrote this like at the rehearsal, like in about 20 minutes, and I just went around to the bandmates and said, "Can you play this?" You know, and I pound out a rhythm or something. Bass player, can you play that? And then of course, if they had changes, they would modify it. But it turned out to be one of our favorite tunes. It was real cool and real simple, and it goes kind of like this. Here's the stripped down version. Let's see. Why can't it be now? Why can't it be today? Why can't it be now? Why can't it be today? What am I saying? Yeah, you got it. Why can't it be now? Why can't it be today? Shalom, salam, kozun rufum shanti. Shalom, salam, kozun rufum shanti. Why can't it be now? Why can't it be today? You got it? Yeah. Why can't it be now? Why can't it be today? Okay, just you? Yeah. Shalom, salam, kozun rufum shantim. Shalom, salam, kozun rufum shanti. Shalom, salam, kozun rufum shanti. Shalom, salam, kozun rufum shanti. Okay, so the words, some of you were pretty quick in singing it anyway. First word is simply shalom. Perfect. Second word means the same thing, and it's salam. Interesting how close they really are. Next one is kozun rufu. Oh, wow, that was pretty good. Okay. Usually it's a major train wreck when we get to that play right there. It's okay, so kozun rufu, the singer on our RebbeSoul band, she's a chanting Buddhist, And so she taught me this thing. Kozen Rufu means world peace. And I think it's in, well, it's in Chinese caricatures, but I think it's Japanese. I'm not sure, but that's what they chant. They chant for world peace. And again, it's Kozen Rufu. One more time. Perfect. Next one, Shanti. Okay, a lot of you know that one too. And you may hear me say Om Shanti. And right? And I say Om Shanti. Everyone thinks I had some deep spiritual, reason in mind. But the fact is, and the poet here, Rick, will understand, I simply needed another syllable. So it became Om Shanti. Actually, on the album, I need the syllable. This is a true story. I did Ashanti, and then one of the first times the album was out, it was all over the place, and I did one of my first real intimate concerts without the band. It was like one of the first times without the band I ever played, and I did this series of house concerts, one after another in Texas, which I thought, after doing them, I reflected, house concert, Texas, that's the perfect place to do stuff like this. All that down home kind of, it was like perfect, And so it's very close, like we're sitting kind of like we are now, pretty close. And I did, and Kozen Rufu, Om Shanti. And then I'm hearing, and since it's so close, I can hear people, and I hear, no peace. And I thought, uh-oh, what does that mean, And so, and I could see, and the people there, they were definitely like from India or Pakistan or something, just by looking at them. And so I kind of stopped, and since it's a house concert, you can be kind of informal, like I'm doing right now. And I asked him, what he means. Well, apparently in Hindi, if you put an "a" in front of something, it negates the word itself. So here we go, Shanti, it means no peace. I'm thinking to myself, man, I just released this album. It's on the radio, it's mixed, it's mastered, we've made like all these thousands of copies of this thing. So, anyway. So now it's Om Shanti, okay? All right, fine. So here we go. Shalom, salam, Kozen Rufu, Om Shanti. 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 Why can't it be now? Why can't it be today? Your turn. למה לא עכשיו? למה לא היום? Shalom, salam, Kozen Rufu, Om Shanti. 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 Okay, just you this time. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. Rabbi, thank you, and thank all of you.
So, I know it's late. We want everybody to get home safe. We have oneg. We're going to do Kiddush on Motzi. Let's bring in the grape juice and wine, we'll do one Kiddush up here, and then let everybody go out there and have challah. We want to make a very special announcement for something that's going on next week. Next Shabbat, we have Wendy. She's going to be leading services the 29th, so that's 3 weeks in a row that we got to have Shabbat together, which is awesome. So we want you all back next week for the Shabbat service. Wendy will be leading 8 o'clock again, 7 o'clock. We'll have happy hour and give people a chance to come in, get comfortable, be seated, and then again we'll have the Shabbat service. We are having class Tuesday morning. Our Beyond the Torah study. We're moving into a new book of the Bible. So we're not the last few weeks for Joshua. We're going to be moving into Judges, which is a really interesting book of the Bible. So 9 o'clock on Tuesday morning, and that is this Tuesday. Hope to see you online. We are going to hopefully next month be moving into this room right up there is where the projector is going, so that it's already been marked. So hopefully in the coming days we'll have announcements for that. We are supposed to have class Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock. Our Just Genesis class. There is a small chance. We hope it gets a little bit bigger tomorrow that we will not have class Wednesday night because we'll be in the World Series. So that is, we had class. I will tell you, we had class last Wednesday night, and things went to hell because we had class Wednesday night. I don't know if it's because we had class Wednesday night or because we shouldn't have watched the game. We shouldn't have watched the game. It depends on whether you believe in fate or whether we control it. But 7 o'clock was we were watching that game. It pretty much at that moment got out of hand Wednesday night. So anyways, I don't know. So we're hoping this is a great weekend for us here in LA, and then we get to go on and get to go to some great games. I only want to tell you, I was at Tuesday night's game. My sister was at last night's game, so we're good luck. We're not going to Atlanta, though, tonight to go to be there in Atlanta, so that's not happening. But anyways, we will let people know, and we hope we don't have class Wednesday night. But anyways, we do have class every other Wednesday night, God willing, for a long time, so shouldn't be the end of the world. So anyways, have a great rest of Shabbos. We're going to do our Kiddush and Hamotzi. I don't know where. Can someone just bring in our Kiddush? Joyce, our designated.
Oh, it's right
Joyce.
there.
Oh, it's already been here. Tracy already brought it in. Thank you. So we've already got it in here. We are going to, we have drinks out there still anyways that people can have. But let's see.
Mark, you need to unmute your mic.
I do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Unmute it. Well, nobody needed to hear that anyways. If you were online, just go online and if I was only for the message just look on our website. For those who didn't hear that last spiel, just go on our website. And maybe we don't have class Wednesday night, God willing. All right, so we'll do our Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen l'chaim and hamotzi. We're going to have, it's already been pre-cut. We're going to bring it back in there. You can have hand sanitizer, put it on. But we'll do hamotzi. We'll do the blessing. And again, wish everyone a great Shabbos. Thank you again so much, RebbeSoul, for being with us tonight. Everybody, RebbeSoul, a national treasure, really, an international treasure. So thank you for coming out to our neck of the woods to Santa Clarita. We hope you will return. We hope you will come back when you're in LA. And we're so glad you could be here tonight. So again, thank you so much for being here. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Grab some challah, everybody. Grab some stuff out there too. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Harvey, our president, is here. I want to thank Harvey for an amazing leadership. Our previous past president, Lori Lytle, is here, as well as we've had actually several presidents here tonight. It was a presidential evening. Joyce is here. John Stolman was here. There's been several presidents that we could ignore. Don Kogan is there, president, actually still on our board. We don't let him off of our board. And so we had a lot of presidents here from the last few years. And Harvey announced last week, and he's going to announce it to everyone in the coming week. The high holiday pledge total, Harvey, because you're here tonight?
Is $66,816.
Which was then, in turn, doubled and matched. That was the unmatched amount. I can't even add up the 66 times 2. And anyways, thank you, everybody. Please join us outside and, again, have a chance to be able to greet RebbeSoul outside. And wish everyone a good Shabbos. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Was it good?